Forgive me, because this is going to feel a little like deja vu from what we talked about with the Hornets, but don't do it now. The Hawks are also on a bit of a tear here. Winning their 5th straight against the Bucks. Their second half was legit.
It's a lot of layups.
A lot of empty
A lot of layups in here.
Float me.
No Kuminga for the Hawks last night, however.
No problem.
No problem at all. 2.5 games back. They also are 2.5 games back of that 6th seed. 4 of their next 6 games are against.
There's a race for Sace, and I mean 6th seed.
Yes, we did it.
The race for Sace is on in the East.
We are on the clock.
That Sace is legit. Can they get out of the play-in?
I say, why not again?
I mean,
like the 4 teams that are in the play-in position in Orlando, Miami, Atlanta, and Charlotte. Charlotte and Atlanta are the 2 teams that are trending up. They are really putting some pressure on this 6th spot. Now, they do have an uphill battle to climb, but 5-game win streak and not having Kuminga in the lineup, that's a great start to it. And also, like Charlotte, they have a favorable schedule coming up. So I think so. I'm in. I'm all in on what the Hawks got going on.
I think Orlando's the best team in this play-in situation here, but I would love to see Atlanta come down to Atlanta versus Charlotte for that last spot. Like
what's going on?
Why do you think that?
I think those are those 2 young, exciting teams. I think the Hawks are better now with Kuminga. I want to see him flourish there, probably more so than any guy at a new place.
Fair.
And then Charlotte, what they're doing with this young core, I think that would be a heck of a game for them to have to go at it for that final 8 seed to face Detroit in the first round. I think that would be awesome. So I love the fact that these guys are both peaking right now. Their team is set. Trade deadline's over. We are who we are. Let's move forward. And I love.
They got some real hills to climb, but I like the way that they're playing, man. They got the city excited. They got their fans excited, and on top of that, it looks like they're starting to become a cohesive group. So very much like Charlotte, man, these are the 2 teams that are on the must-watch list right now.
Did they cancel the Lemon Pepper Lou night yet? Or no?
They never will.
It was never called.
They never. That's a separate thing. That is something else altogether.
That is a different night.
That would be a good hoodie too, though.
But no, still on.
It's still on.
We'll be there.
It's turning into a good matchup because it's the Orlando Magic. So that'll be a game to watch.
We're setting up a GoFundMe so that Chandler and I can actually be in the house on Magic Monday. So let's make that happen. Or Lou could just take us, but he hasn't offered. That's fine. There's a stat for
Lou keeps talking about how many tickets he has, but he hasn't necessarily offered them to us.
He hasn't offered one. There's a stat on the interweb about the Hawks being consistently mediocre over like thousands of games. So, I mean, these are, I'm not going to read it to you, but yeah, you get the gist.
Wait, what? That's real?
Yeah, it's real. We got Jalen and Kuminga now.
I'm involved in some of these stats.
I'm involved for like
and we went
17 of those.
You're 100% involved.
I got 6 games with the Hawks under my belt.
Are we looking at a situation where the near future is that little stat list can start to be obsolete? We're going up.
I think so. I think you look at the young core they have. I always talk about kind of the similarities of the 4 to 6 guys they have. They're 6'7" to 6'8" that they can play both sides of the ball. They have so much talent. I love the addition of Kuminga. Jalen Johnson he's not a budding star. He's literally a star right now in the league. And so I love what they've done here. They're also going to be a fun, athletic team to watch. If they can buy in, they can defend, they're going to be right there in the Eastern Conference. I truly believe that.
Those were crazy stats, actually.
Why were they?
People who can do that, good for you. We're going to take a look at the Jalen's. Jalen Johnson, double-double, 3 of the 6 games since the All-Star break. Jalen Duren has led the Pistons in scoring in 5 of their last 6 games. It's the battle of the Jalen's. Who's the most improved? Who gets the vote if you had one?
Oof.
I know.
I mean, Jalen Duren went from like solid big to all-star starting center on Team USA. Like, I feel like that kind of jump is like he took his game to another level. And I still think he's got so much more potential to even create more on the offensive end, more handling in the pick and roll. I think he can even develop a corner 3. Like, I think this guy is the future best 5-man in this league for the next 5 to 10 years. He's still so young.
And he is the fave.
Jalen Johnson's also awesome, but like I'd have to go with Duren here. There's so many good Jalens in the NBA right now.
We went from no Jalens to all Jalens.
I'm glad you did Jalen Duren because I'm biased. I'm gonna jump out the window and say it's Jalen Johnson. That's my rook, and from him to go to not getting any minutes at all, not even being able to scratch the floor, to turning himself into an all-star caliber player in nothing short of 2 seasons. You gotta make the case for Jalen Johnson. Also, shout out to Jalen Duren though. Both of those guys are doing their thing. So to have the opportunity for both of these guys to be, look at this.
That's fun.
Both of them to be in a position for both of these guys to be in the position that they're in though, kudos to both of them, man. But if my vote it meant something, I got to go Jalen Johnson.
Can we go completely random here? Does the all Jalen team win an NBA championship?
All Jalen?
Jalen Brunson, Jalen Williams, Jalen Brown, Jalen Johnson, Jalen Duran.
Lord.
I like that group.
And then Jalen Green and like the
That
other
should be in
Jalen
the
Williams.
All-Star next
And then
year.
Jalen Green and the other Jalen Williams off the bench.
You do a Team USA, you do a World Team, you do a Jalen
And there's
team.
Jalen Wells, I think, on the Grizzlies.
And is it true that all of these Jalen Rose is like the original Jalen?
That's what Jalen Rose would always
I think
tell
they
us.
win.
He's
I think
the
Team
first
Jalen wins the championship.
A championship.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
It's a hell of a statement.
So Jalen is just a made-up name?
Yes. And I forget what the combination was that when he was being named, it's like the J and I think they took parts of the names of. God, I'm
Jalen Suggs would also be on the bench.
My daughter has a combined name, but it's not as cool.
Well, you never know. We'll see 10 years from now.
Her name's Jada, but it's a combined name.
Jalen Pickett, Jalen Tyson on the Cavs. Yeah, they're winning. They're deep.
This is your new fascination.
Yeah, I can't
we got
stop.
Taylor, a new hobby.
I can't stop. There's so many good Jalens.
That's actually kind of cool to think about. We do need to at least address the Bucks for a second because Giannis has now been back a couple of games back to back. These are losses for him, and he was very frustrated last night. It was very visible to see. He got teched up. Guys, what? This is going to be a long, sad ending.
Yeah, I just don't know. I mean, listen, this is frustration. Their team, and again, with the rise right now of the Hornets, like I thought maybe there was a little glimmer of hope that they could catch them. It's over. The season's pretty much a wrap with how good these teams in the play-in are now playing. So
Those unis are
summer starts early here, fellas. So now it's just a matter of the Giannis situation. Where does he go, and what impact will he have?
This is like a bad divorce now.
We're probably looking at a Giannis shutdown soon here, and maybe our buddy BP can give us some insight on that when we speak to him soon. But it looks like it's turning into. Let's evaluate the young talent, the Ryan Rollins of the world, some of the other guys that we have in uniform, that we can see who's worthy of staying in uniform, that we can build around and move towards the future. But it looks like they've given up on.
We should shut down those jerseys too, like right when they shut him down to get rid
I
of
like
that.
the Cream City jersey.
Free Bobby.
Kind of crazy name.
Put him in the
but I like
package
it.
with Giannis, please.
Name.
Yeah, Cream City.
Free Bobby would be great. Where would we want Bobby Portis to go? We should think about that.
Put
over the
him
weekend.
in the deal with Giannis.
Wow. Okay. Fair enough. If it's good. We're going to take a quick break. More. Run it back on the other side. Cream City's not good.
I'm going to do a little.
Even with Lou Dort's, quote unquote, dirty play against Jokic last week that everybody condemned, and I think it was rightfully criticized. Dort now told my buddy Joel Lorenzi at The Athletic the other day, I might have messed that one up. So even, like, if you're going to be the villain, if you're going to be Dennis Rodman or anybody, the bad boys Pistons, you got to lean into it. You're not apologizing. You're just saying, tough. That's the way the game goes. So I don't think they want to be the villains. And they were the darlings of the league just a year ago, and they've only won one championship. Like, to be villains, you either have to be perpetually annoying as hell and getting at everybody and having dirty plays all the time, which is not really today's NBA, or you got to win a bunch of titles. And they've won one. And if they do become the dynasty that I think a lot of us have pseudo-projected, then people will get sick of them, just like they got sick of the Warriors, and that time will come. But I think it's early.
I think you know what's smart, Bill? Getting ahead of it.
So, Howard, obviously the Thunder are one of them, but how many then real contenders are there in the NBA right now? We know who's at the top of the standings. We know there's some wild cards, but like how many actual contenders do you think there are this season?
Before the season started, Chandler, it was that we always do the October, projecting and everything. I thought, well, you know what? If it's the Thunder versus the field, given this age of parity, I'll take the field. All right, if I'm taking the field, who am I taking? I'll go with Denver. As we sit here now, a month out or so from the playoffs, I still, especially because of how banged up the Thunder have been and how average they've been over the last month, 6 weeks, I do still kind of feel like this is an open race. And that being the case, like Oklahoma is still the rightful favorite because of their record, because of their standing as defending champs. But Denver's got to get healthy. But could Denver do it? Yeah. Could Minnesota come out of the West? Yeah. I think there's like 4 teams, including San Antonio, that could plausibly come out of the West. And I think there are 4 that could plausibly come out of the East. So I'm going to say there's 8 contenders right now, which is not usually the case in the NBA. That may look foolish a month from now. Yeah. But I mean, the East, if you told me any 2 of those top 4 teams were in the conference finals, I believe you.
With that being said, are you taking the champions coming out of the West this year?
Am I? Oh, for the whole thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, like if we're saying contender means you at least made the finals, it's 8 teams. If contender means win the championship,
who's going to win it all? Come from the West.
It's whoever comes out of the West.
It's funny because that is how it's spoken. Even when you hear people talking, they're like, "Well, it's coming out." Like,
the East too is much better than we thought, but
way
I think
better
the champ comes out of the West.
God, I wish we could fast forward. All-Star break. You wrote about Adam Silver and how at this point in his career he's facing the most pressure, the most scrutiny. What's the biggest issue that Adam's trying to figure out and get ahead of?
Man, it's such a long list, and I kind of cataloged it all in that piece, but they still have to decide this Clippers cap circumvention case. It's been, it's faded to the background, but it goes to the integrity of the league and how these teams operate competing with each other and whether they can actually trust each other to follow their own rules or whether they should just burn the whole, set of them. The gambling thing feels ominous on some level, because that is obviously a legal matter. But right now it only involves a couple of people, and it's a coach in Chauncey Billups, it's Terry Rozier, who was 1 foot out of the league anyway, Damon Jones, who was already out of the league. That one doesn't feel like it's a big of a existential threat. The tanking is obviously huge right now, and I do believe, having talked to people around the league, they are committed to doing something. I don't know how far they're going to go this time, whether it's just tweaking the odds again. I don't think they'll stop there. I think they're going to make a number of changes before next season begins. And I think they might even go, I've heard this suggested by some folks around the league, they may even take a 2-step process here where the short-term fix is do everything you can do to try to tamp it down, but then maybe come up with a radical new system that would go into effect like 5, 6, 7 years down the line after all of the traded picks have conveyed, because you can't change the entire system. Like, they're not scrapping the draft by any means, but extreme suggestions like that one where you're just changing the entire system or scrapping the lottery and replacing that with something, you can't do while there's still traded picks out there in the ether. You've got to wait for those to cycle through. So they may take a 2-step approach here, but they're definitely going to do something.
Yeah.
But does that mean then you can't trade picks? Like, they're like, all right, we're not trading picks anymore because we got something ahead in like 4 years. That's
a great question. Yeah, I know. Maybe they have to put a pause on it and have there's a dead year or two where there's a transition year. I don't know. Everything's on the table.
And get ones an All-Star weekend and the expansion, maybe 1 or 2 more teams.